Hey, internet. So for the last couple weeks, my video output for this channel has been a little bit dodgy, and I'm going to address that at the end of the video, but first I wanted to talk time management. Wait, don't go anywhere. This isn't going to be a lecture like the ones you've heard from your high school teachers or your college professors or your employers, or just don't go anywhere. This is just some things I've learned along the way. I talked about this a little bit in my video discussing organization, and the things I talked about then, as well as what I'm going to discuss now, can pretty much apply to any large project. Okay, so you have a project in mind, and you've organized all the materials and people, and you're ready to get started, but you have a full-time day job. If you're anything like me, the project you are about to start, you've put a lot of care and thought into, and is something that you want to be proud of once completed. But suddenly looking at everything that needs to get done makes it seem super overwhelming, and there's no way you could possibly get everything done unless you stay up all night and work till sunup. Or at least that's how I used to feel, only I don't pull all-nighters anymore to work on a project. Day job. What I do instead is space everything out. I have a list or lots of lists of everything that needs to get done. So then I set a date, usually 2 to 3 weeks from when I start or when I want to get everything done by. A deadline. It's okay. Deadlines are okay. They can be loose and flexible, and I'll get to that in a minute. Promise. Okay, and this is gonna seem really common sense-like, but basically just spread it out, doing a little bit at a time over the course of many days as opposed to all at once. And you compartmentalize things. There are some things you don't need until right before the deadline because they're perishable, like food, or you need to wait until you have the financial resources available to get them, and so you will have those financial resources available. You just have to wait until they are to get that thing done, and so there's no need to do that thing yet. Compartmentalize it for later, knowing that it will get done later, opening up time for the now to do things in the now. That way, everything else goes little by little, getting 1 to 2 things done a day at a time. An example of this for me is writing out a shot list. First, I break the shot list into segments. That's an evening, and then I go segment by segment and write the shots for each segment. So one segment, writing the shot list for that, is one night after work, and then the next night after work I do the next segment, and so on until it's all done. For me, what that means is when I arrive at my deadline, I've gotten everything done, and I won't hate myself about it because I enjoyed the process. I didn't stress out about the things I couldn't do because there was no need to. I knew I would get to them eventually, allowing myself to be able to focus on the things I can do in that moment. Now I'm rolling into my second shoot, and yesterday we held a rehearsal with my 2 actors, and then in 2 weeks we film. Leading up to yesterday, however, things had been a little messy in planning the shoot for the second episode. Filming for it was planned at the beginning of January, but had to be postponed because one of my actors had a personal reason. Okay. That's okay. We'll reset the date and film later. Then I filmed the first episode, and I was super pumped and ready to go, all jazzed and what have you. So I was like, hey guys, you want to film the weekend of the 21st of February? And those guys were like, yeah, Virginia, that sounds cool. Let us know what's going on. Then last week I met with one of my actors to work on the writing for upcoming episodes, and I started to feel all this dread about everything that needs to get done, which I didn't express to him that way. I just said, how do you feel about having a rehearsal next week instead of getting together to shoot, and then we can move the shoot to further down the line? What happened to being all jazzed and what have you? I know, it's just, and this is the difference between anxiety and thoughtful planning. But the way all of our schedules are panning out for me and you and the other actor, I don't think it's feasible for us to get together next week and film the episode without having first rehearsed, which isn't something it looks like we'll be able to do this week, and I would really like to do that before we film. Because, you know, I've worked with you, actor, writer, friend, and if I give you a verb, you know what I mean. But what if I give him a verb and he doesn't like it? Okay, I see. Yes. And then he said super validating things, and I emailed everyone and explained, and then we had a rehearsal, and it was the right thing to do. One, because we all have day jobs, and we have to give this project the time that it needs so that we can enjoy it and be proud of it. And if we try to squish too much stuff in to a time frame that we don't actually have available, it won't be that. We won't actually give the project the time it needs. We won't give ourselves the time it needs to prepare for it, which is a thing that you need to do, that we need to do. It's a and 2, we're doing this for fun, as a labor of love, to be able to have made something that we can look back on and be proud of and like and enjoy and share with friends, and rushing it won't make that happen. How do I know? Because we're doing it. It is happening. And the only thing taking time will do is help. So if you're working on a film, a web series, a project that's a passion, a labor of love for you, then take your time. Don't get held up with how long it takes to do it, because it's okay. It's going to happen in the time it takes you to do it, especially if you've already gotten started. If you've come far enough to start, then you've already done the hard part, and that's getting started. Okay. If you like this video and you'd like to keep moving forward with me, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, you may see that I have not been posting regularly, which I know is a cardinal sin of YouTube, but some of my favorite YouTubers don't put out videos regularly, so why can't I? Well, for one, I don't want to. I like putting content out on the regular, but sometimes it's just not feasible, so this is what I'm going to do. I will still do regular videos, but just one per week. So this week, you guys get a film blog video, and next week you get a regular Thursday video, as opposed to putting a film blog and a Thursday video in the same week. I'm staggering them one after the other, alternating back and forth. As much as I would like to keep putting out 2 videos a week, it's just not something that's going to happen while I have a day job, and that's okay, especially while I'm also trying to put out 2 different film projects for myself. And also, it's important to me to put out quality content instead of just putting out 2 videos a week because I said I would. It's important for me to give you quality over quantity, and I feel like I've sacrificed quality to keep doing this thing I said I would do because I said I would do it. What I may do is, if by some miracle I have the extra time and I can pre-record, I will put up 2 videos a week. But if I don't, then I don't. There will still be the 1 video every week. Okay. Happy Monday.